Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
The atmosphere inside the Port Charles courthouse was already heavy with tension, but no one could have predicted the moment that would flip the entire case on its head. What started as a procedural hearing quickly became a moral showdown, one that forced hidden truths into the open and left several powerful people scrambling to protect themselves. At the center of it all stood Kai and Trina, determined, fearless, and no longer willing to let silence protect lies. Their request was simple on the surface. Check Willow's call log. But beneath that request lay a digital trail that threatened to unravel relationships, expose manipulation, and ignite fury that would echo far beyond the courtroom walls. The judge had barely settled in when the air shifted. Every bench was filled. Every whisper carried urgency. This wasn't just another day in court, it was a crossroads moment, one where truth and deception would collide head-on. Willow sat stiffly at the defense table, her face carefully composed, but her hands trembled slightly as she clasped them together. She had prepared herself for accusations, for speculation, even for character attacks. What she hadn't prepared for was the calm, calculated resolve burning in Trina Robinson's eyes. Beside Trina stood Kai, silent but unwavering. He wasn't there for theatrics. He was there because something didn't add up, and he refused to let it slide. Across the room, familiar faces watched with guarded expressions. Carly's jaw was tight. Michael looked torn between loyalty and doubt. Nina's gaze flickered anxiously from Willow to the judge, sensing danger creeping closer with every passing second. The baptism was beginning. Not of water, but of truth. When Trina stood, the room fell quiet. Her voice didn't shake. Her words were measured, deliberate, and impossible to ignore. She explained that inconsistencies in Willow's timeline had surfaced, gaps that couldn't be explained away by stress or confusion. There were moments when Willow claimed she was unreachable, moments when she insisted she was alone. But Trina had reason to believe otherwise. Kai stepped forward next, reinforcing Trina's request. Together, they laid out their argument. If Willow truly had nothing to hide, then her call log would confirm her version of events. If it didn't, then the court deserved to know why. The courtroom buzzed with unease. Because in Port Charles, phones don't just carry conversations. They carry secrets. For the first time, Willow's mask slipped. Her eyes widened just slightly, enough for those who knew her well to notice. She glanced instinctively toward Michael, searching for reassurance. He offered a weak nod, but doubt clouded his expression. Willow objected softly, citing privacy, insisting that her personal communications had nothing to do with the case. Her attorney quickly echoed the concern, arguing that the request was invasive and unnecessary. But Trina didn't back down. She reminded the court that truth doesn't fear transparency. And that statement landed like a thunderclap. During a brief pause, Trina received quiet support from unexpected corners. Curtis offered a proud nod from the gallery. Jocelyn squeezed Trina's hand, whispering that she was doing the right thing, even if it was hard. Kai leaned in and spoke softly to Trina, reminding her that courage wasn't about certainty, it was about standing firm even when the outcome scared you. Those words mattered. Because Trina knew this request could cost her friendships, trust, and possibly even safety. But she also knew what it meant to live with unanswered questions. She refused to do that again. The judge listened carefully, eyes narrowing as each argument unfolded. This wasn't just a legal decision, it was a moral one. Approving the request would set a precedent. It would mean that no one, not even the most sympathetic figure in the room, was above scrutiny. Denying it, however, could allow a lie to survive unchallenged. After what felt like an eternity, the judge spoke. The court would review Willow's call log. Gasps erupted. Nina's face drained of color. Carly stiffened. Michael looked as though the ground had shifted beneath his feet. Willow closed her eyes, just for a moment. Because she knew. As the call log was retrieved, tension escalated rapidly. Each second felt heavier than the last. The courtroom waited, breath held, as dates, times, and numbers appeared on the screen. At first, everything seemed harmless. Routine calls. Family check-ins. Then Trina pointed out the discrepancy. A call placed during a time Willow had sworn she was unreachable. And not just one. Several. The name attached to those calls sent shockwaves through the room. Someone Willow claimed she hadn't spoken to in months. Someone directly connected to the heart of the case. Voices rose. Objections flew. The judge hammered the gavel, demanding order, but the damage was done. Michael stood abruptly, staring at Willow in disbelief. "You said," he began, then stopped, unable to finish the sentence. Nina looked torn between defending her daughter and protecting herself. Carly's expression hardened, her instincts screaming that this revelation would have far-reaching consequences. And somewhere in the background, an unseen figure clenched their fists in rage. Because Willow wasn't the only one exposed by that call log. As court recessed, the fallout began immediately. Trina received a chilling warning via text, anonymous, but unmistakably threatening. Kai noticed her pale expression and insisted on staying close. Someone didn't want this truth coming out. Someone powerful. And they were willing to intimidate to keep control. Meanwhile, whispers spread through Port Charles. Allies began to distance themselves. Old loyalties cracked under the pressure of digital proof. Willow, once seen as untouchable, now found herself isolated. Willow faces her reckoning. Alone with her attorney, Willow broke down. She insisted she had reasons. That she was protecting someone. That she never meant for things to spiral this far. But intentions don't erase evidence. And the call log told a story she could no longer control. Michael struggled with betrayal, torn between love and truth. Nina feared that defending Willow might destroy what little trust she had left. The baptism was complete. The truth had washed over them all, cleansing for some, devastating for others. The judge's decision changed everything. The case would proceed with this new evidence. Relationships would fracture. Enemies would emerge. And Trina? She would no longer be seen as just a bystander. She had become a catalyst. Kai remained at her side, knowing full well that standing for truth often comes with a price. But neither of them regretted it. Because in Port Charles, silence is often more dangerous than speaking out. This wasn't just about a phone. It was about accountability. It was about courage. It was about two people refusing to let fear dictate justice. And as angry threats loom and alliances shift, one thing is certain. The call log was only the beginning. The fallout will be fierce. And Port Charles will never be the same. Tracy was scarified when she could not find the effects she had moved into Lulu's house for many days. Brooke Lynn was forced to tell Granny that Drew stole all of her memorials. So, now you are saying that they're now at Drew's house, absorbing all the wrong that lives within his walls? And why did not notoriety go get them? Tracy asked. Brooke Lynn explained that the family was more focused on Ned's recovery. Jocelyn and Michael met up at the Metro Court auditoriums. Michael admitted that he demanded a little moral support for Willow's trial, which was starting the coming day. Just also, Joss spotted Drew and Willow arriving for a mess. Michael decided that they should just ignore them. At their table, Willow bothered that everyone was gaping at them and wanted to move to a more private table. Drew claimed they stay right where they were to show the world they had nothing to hide. "I'm just so uncomfortable right now I can virtually hear people brooding about me," Willow lamented. Drew still did not watch. Drew stepped down from the table to take a call from Tracy. He told her that he'd just as important right to the family heritages as she did and hung up. On the other end, Tracy pledged to Brooke Lynn that she would get her stuff back. "He does not know who he is dealing with, but he is about to find out," she smiled. Tracy summoned Marty to her manse and demanded her particulars back. Marty claimed he knew nothing about the property that Drew had stolen. "Believe me when I say it behooves you to get every single point back to me incontinently," she said. Marty did not know how he was going to do that. Tracy advised Marty he would more get what was hers or she would have him arrested for trying to steal my beautiful home. Brooke Lynn reminded Marty that they were now on good terms with Ronnie and she would be happy to tell a jury about what Marty did. Marty left with his tail between his legs. Back at the Metro Court auditoriums, Drew returned to the table to find Willow trying to hide her face. She was extremely uncomfortable and wondered what Michael might be telling their kiddies about her. Michael and Jocelyn are trying to upset you. They could have left by now, but they are trying to upset you, Drew claimed. Drew stood up and halted over to Michael and Jocelyn's table to make a scene, important to Willow's horror. Still, she hesitantly joined him as Drew tried to make small talk to provoke a response out of Michael. I've no expostulation to Willow being then, but I do object to Willow showing up at my home for a covert meeting with my kiddies she knows she's not supposed to have, Michael said. Michael could tell that Drew had no idea what Willow had done, but Drew claimed he was well apprehensive. Michael hovered to have Chase and Brooke Lynn subscribe affidavits that they saw Willow at the house. After Willow and Drew walked down, Michael told Jocelyn he stressed having to partake his kiddies with them if Willow was vindicated. Can I ask you, Commodity? Given everything you know now, do you still suppose that you and Willow would have been together indeed if Drew had not slimed his way in? Joss asked. Michael didn't suppose so and also did not believe that he and Willow ever really knew each other. Over at their table, Willow apologized to Drew for trying to see the kiddies. She was just agitated and had been sure that the charges would be dropped. When effects like that be, you got to tell me so I know how to cover you, okay? Drew said, as if he were talking to a child or a cult member. Back at Tracy's house, Michael set up Tracy in the kitchen and ate her home. As she took him to task for not telling her about Ned's heart attack, someone lurked outside hearkening. They started talking about Willow's trial and the mysterious sneaker heard Tracy say that she saw Michael outside Drew's house the night he was shot. Marty's call intruded them. Marty demanded that Drew return Tracy's property ASAP or they could end up in jail. Return whatever it's snappily. Else, this woman is going to make effects unwelcome and in public, neither of which you can go while your woman is on trial, Marty said. Drew did not watch about Willow and her trial. He was not returning a single point. Nina arrived at Jack's office to learn that he wanted to help her find Valentine. Nina was not about to do anything for Jack unless he made good on the favor he formerly owed her. She helped move Lulu to take Charlotte to see Valentine and felt Jack should help her now. Jack dissented since Valentine had now escaped, so in his mind, Nina no longer had influence. Jack eventually asked Nina what she wanted from him. Nina coyly told Jack that she'd like him to help her ever keep the jury from seeing some particular substantiation. Jack inferred that he could engage in substantiation tampering if Nina made it worth his while. I am willing to do whatever it takes to cover my child, so what do you want? Nina asked. Valentine, Jack replied. Jack wanted Nina to exploit a rift between Lulu and Charlotte, so that Charlotte would tell her if Valentine communicated her. Dante and Charlotte were relieved when Rocco and Lulu returned home to tell them that Rocco only had to do community service and would end up standing trial. Dante hugged Rocco, but could tell Commodity was wrong when his son sounded aloof. I am sorry, but until you can clinch my family, too, I am not interested, Rocco said. Lulu took Rocco to task for his station, but Rocco refused to budge. He wanted Dante to treat Gio more. He went upstairs to his room, and an uncomfortable and forlorn Dante left. Once alone, Lulu tried to canonize on Charlotte, but she told her mama she did not want any redundant attention. I cannot indeed brush my teeth without 4 people asking me where I am going, Charlotte complained. Lulu began to realize that Charlotte had some contact with Valentine lately. I have not seen my pater since Steinmauer and I am sure you will be thrilled to know I have not had any contact with him since also, Charlotte said. Lulu reminded Charlotte conduct had consequences and Valentine belonged in captivity. Charlotte just saw other people getting down with crimes and did not suppose that was fair. As Lulu and Charlotte spoke some further, Charlotte told Lulu that she loved her, but Mama, you just do not know me like my father does. So, Lulu asked Charlotte to tell her Commodity about her life that she wouldn't know. Charlotte had a hard time coming up with Commodity to say. So, Lulu eventually asked Charlotte, when I say home, where do you suppose of? Charlotte replied, my home is with my father. We just have all these recollections together that you and I do not have. It's not your fault, but it's not his fault moreover. Lulu hoped that Charlotte would feel like home was with her, egging Charlotte to put her arms around her mama for a big clinch. When Charlotte went upstairs to get ready for bed, Lulu broke down crying. After leaving Lulu's house, Dante sat in his office, but was surprised when Gio stopped in and explained his presence. The verity is, you and I not getting on is making effects too hard on Rocco. I am looking for some kind of concession. I want to have a relationship with my family, and I know he wants that too, Gio said. Dante wanted to allow Rocco and Gio to see one another, so Gio asked what the catch was. No catch, other than the fact that I want you to admit that your relations with Rocco have contributed to his problems, and I want you to work with me going forward, to make sure that does not continue to be, Dante said. Dante admitted that nothing between him and Gio could be fixed overnight, but he knew he was wrong for criminating Gio of not minding about Rocco. Gio confessed that he did not want to come between Rocco and Dante, but he still wanted a relationship with his family. Gio was taken suddenly when Dante told him he wanted to supervise Joe's time with Rocco. Dante asked Gio what a relationship with Rocco looked like to him. Gio had no answer, so Dante suggested a family vacation gathering at Lulu's house. I do not like the idea of having our visits supervised, but I suppose it's a good place to start, Gio said.